Discover the incredible journey of the 4501 Greyhound Scenicruiser, a heartwarming American legend of resilience and community spirit. Emma Carter gazed out at the old Greyhound Scenicruiser parked outside their small diner. Once a vibrant symbol of hope for travelers, it now stood with peeling paint and a rusty frame, much like her dreams of leaving Maplewood. The diner buzzed around her, filled with the sounds of clinking dishes and friendly chatter. Yet Emma felt tethered to the very place that both defined her and confined her. Her mother worked tirelessly in the kitchen, and her grandfather, a decorated war veteran, reminisced in his corner booth, sharing stories of a more heroic past, tales that stoked the embers of Emma's ambition. In the dim glow of the diner, the aroma of fresh coffee wafted through the air, mixing with the weight of nostalgia and longing. Each story her grandfather told about that bus ignited a flame within her, a desire to do something that mattered, something that would not only honor her family's legacy but awaken the heart of her struggling town. She watched as the city slickers from nearby Prescott rarely looked their way, their polished shoes crunching condescendingly over the gravel of Maplewood streets, casting shadows on dreams like hers. But Emma saw more than memories when she looked at the Greyhound. She saw a rallying point for her community, a thread that could weave together the lives of those often overlooked. Inspired by her grandfather's tales of soldiers transported to safety through the darkest days, Emma felt a surge of determination. It was time to take action. Grouping her friends, fellow misfits with dreams of their own, she shared her vision to restore the Scenicruiser not just as a bus, but as a legacy. They brainstormed. Together they crafted ideas and planned bake sales, car washes, anything to raise funds and awareness. As they worked, excitement grew, and so did the skepticism from the new mayor, a slick politician with roots far from Maplewood's struggles. His dismissive laugh echoed in Emma's mind as she felt the sharp pang of indignation. How dare he belittle their efforts as simple nostalgia? Her heart raced at the thought of their cherished diner and its hard-working patrons being dismissed like yesterday's news. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Still, Emma leaned into the struggles. Bake sales transformed into community gatherings, warming hearts and bridging gaps between Maplewood and the city. People began to unite, old feuds forgotten, laughter spilling over the diner's tables like so much spilled coffee. But as the city council meeting approached, uncertainty loomed over them. The mayor's looming vote could seal the Scenicruiser's fate. That night, Emma discovered her grandfather's secret. The Scenicruiser had been a lifeline during the war, ferrying soldiers well past danger. She felt the weight of this revelation tug at her heart, inspiring her to stand taller. The message was clear. It wasn't just a bus, it was hope, a beating heart of resilience. As she prepared to address the council, her heart pounded, nerves buzzing like static in the air. The eyes of the crowd fixed on her, tension thickening the atmosphere. Just as she took a deep breath, ready to plead her case, a voice erupted from the shadows. Who would join her in this moment? Emma's breath hitched as every dream and every hope for Maplewood clung to that very instant. Would they stand together or be snuffed out like the hopes of countless families before them? Emma's gaze darted around the room, searching for the familiar faces that had shared in the late-night brainstorming sessions and rallying cries. But all she could see were anxious expressions and furrowed brows, uncertainty etched into the townspeople's features. The shadowy figure stepped forward, and she squinted against the dim lights. It was Marcus, her childhood friend, who always had a knack for bringing smiles to her otherwise somber days. "Emma," Marcus called, voice filled with unwavering support. "You're not alone in this." His shout cut through the tension like a knife. Emma felt her heart swell. They had spent countless hours on the bus's restoration plans, dreaming of the laughter that would fill it once again. Encouragement radiated from the crowd as people nodded, momentum building around Marcus' words. I say we give the Scenicruiser the life it deserves. He yelled, hands pumping the air with every syllable. This bus is our history, our future. It brought heroes home, and it can do the same for Maplewood. The crowd stirred, whispers of agreement buzzing in the air like the hum of the diner at lunchtime. Emma felt transformed as she stepped up to the microphone, heart pounding like a drum. This isn't just about a bus. It's about us, about our community finding strength in our shared stories. With each word, conviction poured from her like a waterfall, washing over the faces she knew so well. I know what it feels like to be belittled by outsiders, she continued, her voice rising. But look around us. We're the heart of this town. Together, we can breathe life back into what this bus stands for. We can be a beacon of hope. Applause erupted, ringing through the town hall. Emma closed her eyes for a moment, drinking in the energy, the warmth of shared dreams. But in that jubilant moment, she couldn't shake off the weight of the mayor's looming shadow, the glint of indifference in his sharply dressed eyes not entirely drowned out by the support surrounding her as the council meeting progressed. Emma spoke passionately about community bonding and possibility, but she noticed the mayor scribbling something down, a smug expression framing his face that sent chills crawling down her spine. She knew he would not let this rest easily. Just as she concluded her heartfelt speech, the mayor stood up, smoothing his suit jacket with an air of authority. While I appreciate the youthful enthusiasm, he began, his voice dripping with condescension. Changing the landscape for nostalgia's sake is futile. We have bigger issues, real problems requiring solutions, not evening bus rides down memory lane. Glimpses of disbelief rippled through the audience. Emma clenched her fists, feeling the urge to fight against his dismissal. People began muttering among themselves. Some shifted uncomfortably in their chairs. But just as Emma opened her mouth to respond, an elderly woman, Mrs. Thompson, the town librarian, took a step forward. Her frail frame trembled, yet there was a fire behind her eyes. You think it's just nostalgia? You think that bus doesn't matter? Her voice cracked, raw with emotion. You were once one of us, Mayor. We know what it's like to be forgotten. Emma's heart raced in rhythm with Mrs. Thompson's plea, the old librarian's strength shining a light on their challenge. This was not just about a bus. This was a call to arms for their collective identity. As the tension escalated in the room, Emma felt the tide turning. A wave of determination flowed through her. Would the mayor continue to silence them, or would those voices united rise louder than ever before? Recognition flickered in the crowd, eager eyes meeting Emma's as she prepared for the finale. Every heartbeat resonated with an unspoken question. Was this the moment they were waiting for, or would the shadows win? Emma's voice rose again, daring the mayor to challenge their resolve one last time. Emma's pulse quickened as she faced the mayor, a surge of adrenaline coursing through her. Clenching the microphone, she looked around at the faces that held the stories of Maplewood, determination sparking in their eyes. We are not just a memory, she shouted, her voice cracking under the weight of her passion. This bus isn't just a piece of metal, it's our history. It's filled with the laughter of children, the tears of goodbyes, and the reunions that shaped our lives. Marcus stepped closer, nodding fervently, his eyes shining bright with shared purpose. There was something electric in the air. The crowd seemed to pulse with potential hearts aligned with a common goal. She could feel Mrs. Thompson's spirit buoying them, giving them a fighting chance against the stalemate of indifference. The mayor's facade of superiority began to crack as he looked at the passionate crowd. But how do you plan to fund this dream? Where will the money come from? He countered, his tone now tinged with uncertainty. Emma took a deep breath, pushing aside the unease mixing with her courage. Together we can find a way. We can organize fundraisers, seek donations, and apply for grants. This community was built on the belief that we can achieve great things together. If we don't try, what are we teaching our children? That we surrender? A ripple of murmurs and nods surged through the hall, buzzing like electricity. The anxious whispers turned into affirming agreements, an anthem of hope rising with each chant of "Let us save the Scenicruiser." Emma locked eyes with the mayor, her gaze steady. this isn't about the past. It's about rekindling our spirit, creating a future where we cherish our past and build a stronger Maplewood. Mrs. Thompson, emboldened by Emma's words, chimed in again. We've seen towns like ours fall to the wayside. But look around you. We've built schools, parks, and friendships right here. Why should we allow one person to dictate what Maplewood stands for? The Scenicruiser is one of our greatest symbols. The mayor's expression darkened, his usual confidence faltering. But it has been abandoned, he pressed, grasping at straws. Why should the town divert funds from necessary improvements? Emma responded swiftly, her voice rising above the gathering storm of doubt. Because we shouldn't forget our identity. The Scenicruiser is a vessel of all journeys. All stories woven together. She is where the past meets the present. A chance for remembrance and healing for all of us. Cheers erupted from the crowd, drowning out the mayor's attempt to retake control. A cacophony of voices, filled with renewed energy and hope, surged around Emma. It filled her with a warmth she hadn't felt in weeks. She saw faces transformed, young and old, smiles breaking through years of silence, a testament to the spirit of Maplewood coming alive. Just as the roar of support reached a crescendo, the mayor raised his hand. Silence fell like a blanket. Fine, he finally conceded, voice low, but only for a trial period. You want to restore the bus? Show me it's worth it. Gather your community. Prove to me you can raise the funds. Emma felt a surge of relief wash over her. They had made a dent. They could keep the fight alive. But equally, an unfamiliar fear crept in amidst her excitement. What if it wasn't enough? What if the community couldn't deliver? As she watched the crowd erupt in triumphant cheer, a knot tightened in her stomach. They had earned a chance, but would they follow through? Would the heart of Maplewood beat strong enough to save the Scenicruiser? Just then, she noticed a familiar face in the crowd, her brother, Ethan, who had left town years ago. He stood there, uncertainty clouding his features, as he seemed to grapple with the complexity of trust and change. Would he choose to support them, or would he remain tethered to his doubts? The room buzzed with urgent chatter, their glimmers of hope weaving into a tapestry of big dreams and hidden fears. It was only a first step, but with each breath, Emma felt a new sense of purpose rising. The fight was only just beginning, and as the meeting ended, her heart raced with the possibilities ahead. Would the community rally around her and prove the mayor wrong? Would they rekindle not just the Scenicruiser but the very essence of Maplewood? And most importantly, how could she inspire her brother to join them on this journey? Emma lingered at the edge of the gathering, her heart racing as she watched her brother, Ethan. The weight of expectations pressed on her shoulders, a mix of hope and trepidation intertwining. She stepped forward, weaving through the crowd, her voice a gentle thread amid the jubilant shouts. Ethan, she called, her tone both excited and pleading. He turned, those familiar eyes searching hers. They were both in their own worlds, hers filled with passion, his shrouded in hesitation. Emma, I heard you, he said slowly, his brows knitting together. I just don't know if this is going to work out. The town, it feels different now. It's not just the town. It's us, she replied, her voice dropping just a notch. We're all here for a reason. The Scenicruiser symbolizes our past, but it can also be our future. We can bring everyone back together. His gaze drifted to the lively group, inspired yet lost in their excitement. But what about the money? You saw the mayor. He won't just hand it over. Emma took a deep breath. We'll figure it out. If we rally everyone, tap into that spirit, we can make it happen. We've done it before. With a soft shake of his head, he sighed. You're asking a lot. People have grown apart. I don't know if they're as invested as you think. Disappointment pierced her heart, but determination was a fierce flame inside her. But what if we succeed, Ethan? We could reinvigorate this community. We could bring the joy back. And maybe you'd find your place again too. A long silence pulsed between them as he considered her words. Emma felt the hope flickering in her chest, fragile yet bright. As the crowd began to disperse, Emma grabbed Marcus and a few others, focusing on the next steps. We need a plan, she announced, urgency lacing her voice. Fundraising can't wait. Let us brainstorm ideas. We have to show the mayor that Maplewood is not just a fading memory but a vibrant community. Over the next hour, they tore through ideas like pages in a book. Bake sales, car washes, community picnics, the energy was infectious. Each suggestion was met with laughter and spirited discussions, and Emma's heart lightened with each passing moment. Let us host a local talent show, Marcus suggested, his enthusiasm infectious. Everyone has something to share: music, comedy, magic. We could charge a small ticket fee and maybe even get some local businesses to sponsor us. With renewed vigor, they fleshed out plans, assembling a schedule and mapping out tasks. They hit the pavement together, a collective heartbeat echoing in every conversation. Emma glanced around, feeling pride swell within her, the transformation from doubt to determination painted across every face. But even as they celebrated the possibilities, her thoughts weighed heavily on Ethan. She wanted nothing more than for him to feel that same fire. Later that night, Emma sat alone on the porch, staring out into the darkness. The distant sounds of laughter from friends filled the air, a reminder of everything now in motion. But her mind swirled with doubts. What if they faltered? What if her brother never found his footing alongside them? As she thought about her next move, she heard the creak of the gate. Ethan stepped onto the porch, catching her off guard. "Can I join you?" he asked softly, pulling a chair beside her. "Of course," she replied, her heart racing anew. "I didn't want to disrupt your planning," he said, staring at the ground. "I guess I'm still trying to figure out if I believe in this. It's okay to have doubts. I do too sometimes." She leaned closer, an appeal in her voice. "But we can't let fear hold us back, Ethan. Sometimes we have to fight for what we love." He looked up, and for a moment, the flicker of determination echoed in his gaze. "Maybe I'll help, just a little," he said, a tentative smile breaking through. "But I want to see this make sense." A rush of happiness surged in Emma's chest. "That's all I ask. Let us see it together then." As they sat side by side, a new understanding blossomed between them, a fragile thread of hope woven through their shared journey. Would this moment spark something greater for Maplewood, or would the shadows of doubt continue to loom? Emma felt the questions swirling within, the night wrapped around them like an uncertain blanket. For every step forward, would they face another challenge? Could they truly turn dreams into something real? In the days that followed, the air in Maplewood buzzed with purpose. Emma felt invigorated each morning as she set out to meet with her neighbors, the weight of their collective dreams palpable in the sunlight. Spreading excitement felt like second nature now. She walked door to door, speaking with the townsfolk, and their initial hesitance slowly turned into bright smiles and nods of agreement. But there were shadows, too. As Emma worked, she overheard conversations that dripped with skepticism. "What's the point?" one neighbor grumbled as she passed. "It's just an old bus. We should focus on things that matter." Deep breaths became her quiet strategy. She reminded herself that every community had its doubters, but that should only spur them on. The naysayers couldn't extinguish the spark igniting within her and others. "Tell me again why we're doing this," Ethan asked on a Friday evening, grabbing her attention as they regrouped with Marcus and a couple of others. Emma felt her pulse quicken, but she saw the glint of curiosity in his eyes. Vulnerability lingered in his question, a reminder of the confusion he still faced. "Because we need to share our stories," she answered, believing her words more deeply with every breath. "The Scenicruiser isn't just a bus. It's a piece of our history. If we can save it, we can save something bigger, our sense of community." Ethan fell quiet, his brow creasing. Emma could see his mind working. She stepped closer, forgetting her nervousness for a moment. "People want to feel connected again. This can be our chance to revive the love we once had for each other." Marcus piped up. "And we have talent. Let us focus on that. Everyone has something to give. Remember, we're not just raising money but a rallying call." Ethan sighed, glancing out at the street where children rode bikes and neighbors gathered for evening chats. Perhaps Marcus was right. Maybe, just maybe, this could lead to something new. I guess we can try, he finally said, a hint of hope softening his voice. Encouraged, Emma clapped her hands together, rallying the group. Let us start promoting the talent show. We can use social media, flyers, and meetups. We need the whole community to know. And of course, we'll register as many participants as we can. Every act counts. They spent hours at the old community center, brainstorming creative ways to engage locals. Emma felt the energy build as they sketched out plans. The walls, adorned with old posters and dusty awards, witnessed a rebirth of excitement. But even as they filled the room with laughter and concepts, a familiar figure entered the mayor, her expression guarded. Silencing the room, she cleared her throat. I'm hearing whispers of change around town, she started, her tone both curious and wary. What's all this talk about a talent show? Emma stepped forward, her heart pounding but resolve standing tall. We want to bring everyone together again. The Scenicruiser represents our past and our future. People can showcase their gifts, and we want to raise funds to restore it. The mayor scanned the group, her expression hard to read. You do know it's a lot of work to get the community together, right? For once, everyone's done moving on. But what if we show them that the love for Maplewood isn't lost? Ethan chimed in, surprising himself as much as the others. What if we remind them what it feels like to belong? Silence hung thick in the air, and for a split second, Emma's heart ached at the uncertainty. Would they see the value? I'll think about it, the mayor replied, turning to leave. Emma watched her go, the dim lights reflecting off her departing figure. Was it enough? Would the mayor take them seriously? Emma couldn't shake the tightness in her chest as they resumed their meeting, ideas bubbling once more. Emma, this could really work, but we need to get the mayor on our side, Marcus said, and the others nodded in agreement. The responsibility weighed on her. It was more than just about the bus. It felt like so much hinged on their success. As darkness fell, Emma gazed at the stars, sprouting in the night sky, drowning in thought. Would they manage to weave the magic of community back together? And as she wondered about what tomorrow might bring, the question settled heavily within her. Would they find the courage to confront the mayor and bring the heart of Maplewood back to life? The next morning, Emma awoke with a sense of urgency tinged with excitement. The town of Maplewood felt different today, alive with possibility, just like the cool breeze swirling through her window. She grabbed her notepad, the one filled with ideas and hopes, and dashed out the door. They had so much to do, and time was of the essence. At the diner, the usual clatter of plates and the hum of conversation greeted her. Emma scanned the room, spotting Ethan hunched over a cup of coffee, lost in thought. She slid into the booth opposite him. Hey, did you dream about the talent show? He chuckled, shaking his head. No, but I can't stop thinking about how serious it all feels. His eyes scanned the bustling diner. Do you think the mayor will really get on board? Emma leaned in, determined to project confidence. We have to make her see it's more than just a show. It's about our community's heart. Everyone has something they miss about Maplewood. We just need to remind them. Okay, so what's the plan? Ethan asked, finally sitting up straight. Let us visit the mayor together. We'll show her how much support we already have. But what if she shuts us down? Ethan frowned, doubt creeping back in. She won tea if we're positive and prepared, Emma replied sharply. It's time to start gathering stories. Memories. We need to show her the passion we're igniting. They left the diner, the sunlight warming their shoulders. As they walked, Emma felt that spark in the air again. It was as if Maplewood itself was whispering encouragement. They stopped by the library first, a sturdy building filled with rows of dusty books and quiet corners, where every shelf held generations of stories. Let us talk to Mrs. Jenkins, Emma suggested, recalling how her old librarian had the gift of storytelling. Approaching the desk, she found Mrs. Jenkins organizing a display of local authors. Emma, Ethan, what brings you here today? She asked, her eyes glinting with curiosity. We're planning a talent show to help save the Scenicruiser, Emma explained, her voice steady despite her racing heart. We want to hear everyone's stories about the town, to remind people why Maplewood matters. Mrs. Jenkins nodded slowly, a warm smile breaking across her face. Oh, that sounds lovely. We have archive materials that could help. I'd love to gather some old photographs and newspaper clippings. They would showcase the town's history beautifully. As they rifled through decades of memories, the weight of nostalgia filled the room. Each photo sparked stories: birthday celebrations at the old park, summer picnics by the river, the first town fair. Soon, they left the library with a bag full of treasures, their spirits buoyed. Next stop, the mayoress' office, Emma declared, a mix of fear and excitement swirling in her chest. Together, they approached the town hall, a stately building that breathed authority with its brick walls and flags streaming in the breeze. Taking a deep breath, Emma stepped inside with Ethan. They found the mayor in her office, poring over documents. Her serious demeanor was intimidating, yet Emma felt a surge of determination. Mayor Davis, we wanted to talk to you about the talent show, Emma said, her voice firm yet friendly. The mayor looked up, a flicker of interest in her eyes. I'm glad to see you both. I've been thinking, but what new ideas do you have to convince the town? Emma exchanged glances with Ethan. This was at the moment to embrace their fears and speak their truth. We believe that this isn't just about raising funds for an old bus, she began, heart hammering in her chest. It's about rekindling connections. Everybody has a story about Maplewood. We want to collect them, celebrate them, and we have powerful support already, Ethan added, his voice stronger than before. With every story we share, we bring our town closer together. The mayor's brow softened a fraction, but the clouds of doubt remained. Would she truly understand the significance behind the new voices rising in Maplewood? Emma took a breath, sensing the shift in the room. We need your help to show everyone that Maplewood can come together again. Will you support us? As they stood there, hope mixing with uncertainty, Emma felt the tiniest flicker of change. But what if the mayor still said no? How would they convince the skeptics that community mattered more than fear? The weight of the moment hung in the air, filled with possibilities and peril. Emma steadied her breath, ready for whatever came next. The mayor leaned back in her chair, her fingers steepled under her chin as she considered them. Time seemed to stretch, the silence thickening like fog. Emma's stomach churned, and she fought the urge to fidget. Would their ambitious dream crumble before it even started? Finally, Mayor Davis spoke, her voice slower than before. I appreciate your passion, really. But Maplewood hasn't seen a lot of success with community events recently. There's skepticism. I don't want you to get hurt if this doesn't pan out. Emma swallowed hard. Felt like a weight had dropped into her chest. But that's exactly why we need to try, she urged. This town has a heartbeat, and it's been quiet for too long. We can help it come alive again, even if there are bumps along the way. Ethan joined in, his spirited enthusiasm infectious. We can hold practice shows before the big event. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to exist. People need to come together again, to share laughter and memories. That's what makes a community. The mayor raised an eyebrow, considering it. And how do you propose to gather those stories? With a spark of excitement, Emma grasped a nearby paperclip and started spinning it. We'll set up story stations at the park. It'll be informal, just people chatting and sharing their experiences. She paused, then added, we could even include food. Everyone loves a good snack while reminiscing. Ethan grinned and nodded in agreement. We could even have a wall where people add sticky notes with their favorite memories. It would be visual and heartfelt. The mayor's mouth twitched, and for a moment, it was as if the clouds of doubt were parting. You both seem ready to put in the work. I'll tell you what, I won't deny the idea outright, but you'll need to prove that interest is genuine. Show me that the community believes in this, then we can talk logistics. Emma felt the rush of guarded hope swell within her. We can do that. We'll gather names and stories. We'll get the town buzzing, she rushed to say. All right, Mayor Davis agreed, her tone more lighthearted. But you'll need to move fast. The talent show needs to include acts, music, dance, whatever it takes to engage the community. Leaving the mayor's office, Emma and Ethan felt lighter than before. Stepping out into the sunshine, They exchanged glances, and Emma could see the excitement dancing in his eyes. "What's first on our list?" Ethan asked, an eager grin breaking across his face. Emma pulled out her notepad, flipping to a fresh page. "Let's start with the story stations. We can draft flyers and spread the word. Maybe even get a social media page going. Let's hit up the farmers market this weekend. Lots of folks will be there," he suggested, his enthusiasm infectious. They spent the entire afternoon working together, their conversation flowing as they brainstormed ideas. Emma felt alive again, exhilarated by their plan. It was like Maplewood was awakening, too, as the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the horizon with hues of orange and pink. Emma felt a sudden heaviness in her chest. "Ethan, what if the stories we gather are too painful? What if people can't share?" His brow creased with concern, but then his expression softened with understanding. "Then we listen. We create a space where everyone feels safe to express themselves, whether it's joy or heartache. It's all part of Maplewood, and no matter what, we'll show them that they're not alone." They stood at the corner of the street, filled with hope but confronted by the unknown. Could they truly handle the weight of the town's stories, both light and dark? Could they start a movement that would change everything? As they walked back toward the diner, Emma's heart raced. There was so much to do, and every step toward the future felt both terrifying and thrilling. Would the town rally behind their dream, or would they slip back into apathy? The answer felt just out of reach, but one thing was clear. Their journey was just beginning, and with it came the promise of unexpected revelations. The farmers' market buzzed with life, a mingling of laughter, chatter, and the scent of fresh produce swirling in the air. Emma and Ethan arrived early that Saturday morning, the sun just beginning to peek over the horizon, bathing everything in a warm golden light. Emma clutched her stack of colorful flyers, her palms slightly sweaty. "Okay, we can do this," she said, taking a deep breath. "Just remember, we're here to spread hope." Ethan nodded, eyes darting around the busy stalls. "Right. Let's set up near the entrance. That'll catch the most attention." They quickly staked a spot and set up their makeshift table, carefully arranging the flyers to be eye-catching. Emma looked around at the familiar faces of Maplewood. She spotted Mrs. Cummings, the elderly lady who made the best apple pies, chatting with some kids. Nearby, Mr. Baxter was haggling over the price of tomatoes. A world of stories surrounded them. "Let's start talking to people," Ethan said, his enthusiasm infectious. "I'll handle it. Just stand by and support me." "Are you sure?" Emma asked, her heart pounding. "What if they're skeptical?" "Exactly. That's why we need to get them involved." "It's time to wake Maplewood up from its slumber," he said, his eyes sparkling with determination. Ethan approached the first group of shoppers, a mix of young families and elderly couples. He waved, bringing his trademark grin to the front of the conversation. Emma watched as her heart swelled with pride. "Hey, everyone, we're starting a new project to revive our community spirit," he exclaimed, handing out flyers. "We want to collect your stories, your memories, and we promise to make it fun." Some faces lit up with recognition, while others remained cautious. Emma shifted nervously on her feet, but then she saw the smile spread slowly across a young mother's face. "Is this like a kind of talent show?" the mother asked, her brows furrowing. "It's about more than that," Ethan explained. "We want to gather everybody's stories. You know, the funny ones, the sad ones, everything that makes Maplewood what it is. And their LLB snacks." At that, more heads turned, intrigued. As Ethan continued speaking, something shifted in the crowd. Emma could see glimmers of curiosity replacing the skepticism. "Can I write a memory about the time I won the pie-eating contest?" a young boy asked, bouncing on his feet. "Of course," Ethan replied, grinning. "That's exactly the kind of spirit we want." Emma stepped in then, feeling charged with energy. "And speaking of ideas, we're also looking for talent acts. Singers, dancers, comedians, anyone who wants to showcase their gifts." The boy's eyes widened. "I can dance," he shouted, and suddenly, the group was buzzing with excitement. As they handed out flyers, a sense of camaraderie began to weave through the gathering. For every question, every laugh exchanged, Emma felt a flicker of hope grow into a flame. Yet as the day progressed, she couldn't shake the feeling that not everyone would be ready to share their heart. She caught a glimpse of Mrs. Cummings, her eyes distant, clutching a bag of apples. What if someone has nothing good to share? Emma whispered to Ethan, her excitement momentarily dimmed. What if they just want to forget? Ethan paused, considering her words. Then we create a space where silence is okay too. Everyone needs to feel they belong. Underneath the sun-soaked sky, Emma's heart raced again. They were building something real, but with that excitement came the weight of responsibility. Could they truly make everyone feel included? As they continued to engage with the community, Emma felt a mix of hope and fear. The decision to embark on this journey wasn't just about reviving the town. It was about facing the vulnerability of sharing truths. Little did they both know, a story waiting to be heard was closer to them than they could imagine, and it was going to challenge everything they believed about their mission. Are you ready for what comes next? Ethan asked, as they wrapped things up. Emma nodded slowly, feeling the quiet tremor of anticipation in the air. I think so, but there's so much we don't know. What if it changes everything? And as they left the farmer's market, new possibilities loomed on the horizon. A whisper of tension danced in the air around them, hinting at revelations yet to come. Would the stories they uncovered bring the town closer together or fracture it even more? The sun hung high above Maplewood the following Saturday, and excitement buzzed in the air like an electric current. After the success of last week's outreach, Emma and Ethan were back at the farmer's market. But this time they were armed with even more determination and hope. Look at that crowd, Ethan exclaimed, scanning the sea of familiar faces. I can feel the energy shifting. We're doing this. Emma grinned, her nerves replaced by anticipation. She held a stack of flyers, each one a promise of connection. Let us go. They set up their table at the same spot as before, the vibrant colors of their flyers echoing the lively atmosphere. The whispers of vendors packing fresh produce and the laughter of children playing lingered as a backdrop to their mission. The first few people approached, curious about the table adorned with flyers and a small banner that read "Share Your Story." Emma's heart raced. She was ready for them to listen. Hi there. What can we share about Maplewood today? She greeted a couple who seemed hesitant but intrigued. The woman looked at her, eyes shimmering with uncertainty. I mean, what kind of stories are you looking for? Anything and everything, Ethan chimed in. Memories, talents, that funny moment in town last summer. We just want to create something special. Yeah, we even have a spot for your four-legged friends. Dogs can participate too, Emma added, beaming. To her surprise, the woman let a smile break through. All right, I guess I could write about my dog who runs in circles when he sees the mailman. That sounds perfect, Emma responded, excitement bubbling up within her. While they engaged with more passers-by, a steady stream of laughter mingled with conversations. Yet, amidst the chatter, Emma's gaze fell on Mrs. Cummings again. This time, she was sitting on a nearby bench, eyes fixed on the ground, a shadow of sadness cloaking her features. The moment quickly dulled Emma's exuberance. What's wrong? Ethan asked, noticing Emma's distraction. I worry about people like Mrs. Cummings, Emma said softly. She has such a beautiful past, but I wonder if she's ready to share it, or if she even believes anyone wants to hear it. What if we try? Ethan suggested, nudging her gently. Maybe it's time someone reaches out. She could be waiting for a glimmer of hope too. With a deep breath, Emma nodded. She and Ethan made their way over to Mrs. Cummings, the heartbeat of the market silent in that moment. Mrs. Cummings, Emma called, her voice bright despite her anxiety. Would you like to share a story or talent? We'd love to hear from you. Mrs. Cummings looked up, surprised. Her expression revealed a conflict between refusal and yearning for connection. Emma's heart pounded. She needed to say something more. Your apple pies have brought joy to so many of us. We'd be honored to share what they mean to our community, Emma said, extending sincerity in her voice, hoping it would break the wall of silence around the older woman. For a moment, Mrs. Cummings just stared at them. Then, In a voice heavy with untold stories, she said, "You really think anyone would want to hear my stories? They all seem so small, so insignificant." "Every story matters," Ethan replied earnestly. "It's not about size. It's about connection. And we could all learn from your wisdom." Tears threatened to spill from Mrs. Cummings' eyes, but they were mixed with a glimmer of something else, hope. Emma squeezed her hand gently. "Please just think about it," Emma urged. "No pressure, just know that your voice counts." As they walked back to their table, Emma turned to Ethan. "What if she doesn't come? What if we can't reach everyone?" Ethan smiled reassuringly. "Sometimes it takes a little nudge. But even the tiniest stories can create ripples. Just give it time." That day unfolded like a tapestry, threads weaving tighter among the townspeople who stepped up to share laughter and tears. Each story brought them closer, yet Emma sensed a buildup of unvoiced emotions, something heavy, waiting just beneath the surface. Late in the afternoon, as they packed up, Emma couldn't shake the weight of Mrs. Cummings' hesitation. What if her story is the key that unlocks so much more? She wondered aloud. "We'll just have to find out," Ethan replied, glancing toward the sunset glowing on the horizon. Little did they know, the very heart of Maplewood was waiting to beat louder than ever, and one voice could lead to an avalanche of connection. Yet as Emma turned back to the bustling market, she felt the storm of stories gather around them, foreshadowing a truth that could change everything they thought they understood. Would they be ready for what came next? The following Saturday brought with it a sense of tangible excitement. The air was thick with anticipation as Emma and Ethan prepared for the talent show at the rehabilitated Scenicruiser. The community had rallied around their vision, and it felt like the entire town of Maplewood was aching to come together. Just days before the event, the buzz was electrifying. Emma stood in front of the diner, her heart shimmering with a mix of hope and anxiety. They had managed to gather not just stories, but acts from neighbors they had once thought were lost in their own silence. Musicians, dancers, even the shyest artist ready to share a painting. Everyone had found their courage. It was a spectacle of resilience emerging from vulnerability, a celebration of their shared history. As the sun dipped low in the sky, painting the world in gold and crimson, Emma turned toward the horizon. The sight of the freshly painted Scenicruiser, gleaming under the rays, felt like a dream come true. With Marcus and her friends arranging the last details, the spirit of community shone through every corner like a beacon of hope. As folks started to gather, conversations blended into laughter, and a buzz filled the air. Old friends greeted each other, breaking the barriers that had once divided them. Emma's heart raced with every familiar face that arrived. But as the crowd thickened, her eyes sought out Mrs. Cummings. The older woman had promised to attend, and a quiet worry thrummed in Emma's chest. Would she step forward amid the energy? Would she find the strength to share her story, the one Emma sensed could lift the hearts of everyone present? Then, she saw her a few paces away, clutching a plate of her famous apple pies, looking uncertain yet hopeful. Her heart swelled at the sight. Emma didn't think twice. She rushed over, reaching out to hold Mrs. Cummings' hand. "You made it. Would you like to share your pie recipe? Or tell us about the laughter you've seen during pie bake-offs?" Mrs. Cummings looked hesitant, but a light flickered in her eyes. "Maybe just a few words," she whispered, a hint of her resolve returning. "Exactly," Emma encouraged, squeezing her hand. "Your words matter. They can help weave this community back together. You've shaped Maplewood's heart, Mrs. Cummings." As the evening unfolded, Emma felt the winds of change washing over everyone. The melting pot of stories blended together into a tapestry rich with life. Young singers sang their hearts out, while laughter resonated from the audience as Mr. Baxter, the town's jokester, took the stage with goofy puns. When Mrs. Cummings finally stepped onto the stage, the world around her seemed to hush. Emma felt every heartbeat in the crowd, and then a silence fell like a thick blanket. As the older woman spoke, her voice emerged from the depths of her heart, pouring out memories of her life in Maplewood, her triumphs, losses, and the love that permeated every pie she baked. "I may be just a baker," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "but each pie tells a story of joy, of family, of this wonderful place we call home. And I hope, just like the bus, our stories will carry us together through all the hard times. Tears glimmered in Emma's eyes, sensing her journey had come full circle. By owning her narrative, Mrs. Cummings showcased the power of shared truth. The crowd erupted in thunderous applause, tears mingling with laughter. That night, the Scenicruiser transformed into more than a bus. It was a reminder of the heartbeat of Maplewood, its people and their stories, interwoven into a beautiful collage. As the event wrapped up, townsfolk began conversing in huddles, sharing their own connections to the bus and to each other. Emma felt a warmth enveloping her, like a thick quilt of connections re-stitching together her community. Ethan approached her, a grin stretching wide across his face. "We did it. Did you see how everyone opened up?" "Yes. I can't believe how powerful our stories are together," Emma breathed, her heart pounding with hope. "If we can keep this spirit alive, we could achieve anything." And as they gazed out at the laughter and conversation buzzing around them, Emma realized they had sparked something precious, the essence of belonging. The mayor approached, acknowledgement shining in her eyes. "I never expected such a turnout. You've done something remarkable here, bringing Maplewood together in a way I haven't seen in a long time. It's reinvigorated my belief in our community." Emma nods, fueled by newfound courage. "We can do a lot more than just revitalize the Scenicruiser. Maplewood deserves a future built on these connections." The mayor smiled, a genuine warmth radiating from her. "Then let us keep this momentum going. Who knows what we can accomplish together." As they rallied students, families, and everyone in between to carry forth the spirit of community, Emma felt the tapestry of Maplewood knitting together through every shared laugh, every heartfelt story. They held the essence of resilience and hope. Together, Emma whispered to herself, heart racing with possibility, "We're unstoppable." And just then, beneath the bright stars blanket shining above, she felt the heartbeat of Maplewood alive, vibrant, and full of potential. Now it's your turn. You need to subscribe immediately to our channel. Don't miss out on the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the positivity flowing. Comment below to share your feelings about this inspiring ending. And instantly send this video to at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment for you to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second.